have a story coming out of Rhode Island. Now, we have a sister by the name of Candace Nadine Breen. Now, she ignored her neighbors, Trump supporting, antics. Okay. So the neighbor was named Laura Larrabee. Now, she was a very, very outspoken supporter of Donald Trump. She planted a large Trump signs and flags in front of her home. She decorated her yards, with fake tombstones or Halloween of Colin Kaepernick and Hillary Clinton. And she also started sprinkling her garden with "Stop the Steal" signs after Trump was defeated last year in the presidential election. Now, the sister called them microaggressions, and they were. I mean, you having a tombstone for Colin Kaepernick. Now, look, you wanted to do Trump or whatever, I don't care about that. It is what it is. But the Colin Kaepernick thing, yes, I agree. That's a microaggressions. Now, the sister, say she didn't really pay much attention to her. She just chalked it up as, her having free speech. But until this neighbor got bothered and crossed over her neighbor's property line recently. So the sister received a letter. It was asking her to remove her Black Lives Matter flags in front of her home. It said the letter had no return address or signature. It was delivered to the sister's home in Barrington, Rhode Island on January the 20th. And it was postmarked neighbor. And it came out of Boston, actually, where it was shipped from, about 60 miles from my house. So please remove your Black Lives Matter Marxist anti-American paraphernalia as well. On one portion, said the angry Black Lives Matter, as it has taken billions and billions of dollars and never helped one black person, and yet you bow down to this group. This is embarrassment to this country, is what the letter has stated. Now, the police had tracked the letter back to this Trump supporting Karen, and she admitted that she did send the letter. Now, the sister say this was a crime. They say it was an invasion of our space. They say it came into our house. They say it is wrong. They say this letter was so unhinged. It was a rant, really made no sense, none whatsoever, sister said. And those kind of people can get violent, as we saw on January the 6th. So the sister said the FBI and the U.S. Postal Inspector Service is investigating the letter as we speak right now. The FBI, spoke with the Black Lives Matter local chapter about the situation, asked him about the incident as well. Now, sending hate mail through the Postal Service is a federal offense punishable by up to 5 years in prison. But the mail must, contain threats of harm, kidnap, or request for ransom to rise to that level. That's what, the law is, if people want to be sending things. Now, the sister say it was very upsetting to learn that the person who sent the letter lived right next door. So let's just pick this out. So this chick drives 60 miles away to send hate mail to a next door neighbor. Would it have been easier to tell her something on Facebook? I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. Like this is the level of hate these people have. You would get in your car and drive 60 miles away to a whole nother state in Boston, Massachusetts, to send a letter to a neighbor that live right next door to you. I'm telling you, these people, these Trump supporting people, my God. And like I said, they haven't went away now. They have not went away. Trust me, they have not went away. They just trying to regather themselves right now because they were looking pretty bad on January the 6th. All over the place. They're losing jobs. Some of these people that used to work with Trump, they got their jobs canceled. Even Fox News is canceling people's jobs that was affiliating themselves with Trump. But this is the thing, that I'm just I'm just looking at here more things. This lady is talking about. Tell us stop watching CNN. CNN is brain dead. Wake up! You voted for a communist, and these people just unhinged. But social distancing from people like that neighbor of hers, it's the best thing for black people. Seriously, if we minimize our interactions, but I know the sister wasn't interacting with her. She sent her, she drove 60 miles away to go send her a letter because she was a coward instead of just telling her whatever she thought. But if you got your Trump crap all over the place, She has a right to put Black Lives Matter all over the place else she chooses to at her property. As long as it's on her property and not on yours, she has a right. See, y'all have this freedom of speech, talk I like to make, but it's freedom of speech for you, but not for black folk. And it's just not gonna go down like that. Black folks have a right to express how they feel too. If you want to support Trump, that's what you want to do. Well, she has a right to support Black Lives Matter. And most black folks support Black Lives Matter, the idea, not really the movement. Because we know the movement itself is really a Mzungu liberal organization at this point, because all the money is being washed with them. And, now the reality, the actual group, the only thing I can agree with this lady on, the only one thing that black folks have not seen the billions of dollars that come through that organization. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard one, drop a dime right here in Houston that all that money has come help, black people in the community. So the only thing I agree with her on, but outside of that, she still has no right to go mess with this, individual sister at her home. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about, this, situation. And, if this happened to you and you got this neighbor that done this, how would you respond?